Who will be West Virginia's starting quarterback Saturday against Texas Tech when the Red Raiders come to Morgantown? Neal Brown kind of talked about that in his press conference today, and I have some sources that have told me a couple of things as well. We're going to talk about that right after this word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory today across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
This is for Cameron.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back and welcome in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. You have landed yourself here again at Mountaineer Paul Talks football. So the backyard brawl is done and over with. Pitt is back home, hopefully eating fecal matter. So we're left to worry about what's going to happen Saturday. Who's going to be our starting quarterback? Is it going to be Garrett Greene? Is it going to be Nico Marchiol? And Neal Brown kind of hinted to that in his press conference today. But Mike Osti wrote a quick article on that. I'm going to pop that up real quick and just read over it. And then I'll tell you what some of my sources are saying and some of the things I've been hearing. Status of WVU quarterback Garrett Greene classified as too early to say. The status of quarterback Garrett Greene was one thing that loomed over West Virginia's backyard brawl win throughout the weekend. Unfortunately for curious and concerned WVU fans, head coach Neal Brown left that up in the air while addressing the question during his weekly press conference on Monday. Brown classified Greene's status as unknown by saying it's too early to say about if he could play coming Saturday. I think it's too early to say. I think a lot of it has to do with how he responds over the next few days. We won't utilize him unless he can use his best skill set, which is his athleticism, said Brown to further elaborate on Greene. This update just comes 2 days after Brown said he would hope to know more about concerning Greene's health on Monday. Following West Virginia's 17-6 victory against Pitt in the 106th edition of the Backyard Brawl, Brown said Greene was in a boot following the injury and will provide an update on Greene's status on Monday. Brown noted Greene wanted to try out and test out the injury, but was held out the remainder of play. Garrett Greene finished the game with a limited stat line, throwing 2 incompletions on 2 attempts. Nico Marchiol replaced Greene and completed 6 passes on 9 attempts for 60 yards and a touchdown. Marchiol earned a 159.3 pass rating, completed 67% of his throws. Okay, so I want to point out a couple things here, guys. Something I've been saying for months, and I'm going to say it one more time. Please stop designing QB runs for our quarterbacks when you've only got 3 quarterbacks on the roster that are on scholarship. It's just not worth the risk. And although it is Garrett Greene's, you could arguably say it's his best skill set, but I think letting him do what he does on the ad-lib side of things when the play breaks down is where he can best utilize that skill. When you're running plays up into tackles with a 5'11", 200-pound kid that's not built like a running back. Running backs have thick legs, thick lower extremities that can absorb punishment. Garrett Greene is anything but thick. He's a smaller guy. He's tough, but he's small. Obviously been well documented now. He's injured, and we don't know what's going to happen. But I've heard a couple of things about that. First of all, guys, if you've ever had a high ankle sprain, which after the MRI was done is kind of what we've been told this thing is, and a lot of us have been led to believe that it is indeed a high ankle sprain. I've had 5, maybe 6 in my life. I've never come back in 3 weeks, much less 1. Now, Garrett Greene's an elite athlete, and those guys tend to heal faster than a normal person. And you also have to take into accountability that he's a tough son of a gun. I don't think he's going to be back in time for this week's game. And he didn't practice today. He's not going to practice tomorrow. He probably won't practice Wednesday. And the staff kind of have an unwritten rule that's, like Neal Brown said, not in ink in his press conference. But generally speaking, if a guy doesn't play till by Wednesday, they're usually held out of the game. And even if Garrett were to be able to play, I don't think he would be at 100%, which is why I think Nico is going to be the guy. I really do. I think they're going to have a package of plays that Nico's comfortable with. And hopefully this offense gets revved up a little bit. We're going to have to score close to 30 to win this game, right? I think a lot of us think that we realize, guys, that Penn State's a good offense. We played them. It's not a Big 12 offense. It's not the same thing. And Penn State runs a more methodical type, if they would have sped the game up, they would have probably scored more points on us. Texas Tech is the kind of team that's going to run a play every 25 to 30 seconds, which is booking it. And it creates a whole myriad of issues. And I think we're going to have some things in order for for Nico to be able to kind of keep up with that. He's going to have to throw in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 passes in this game, in my opinion. You can only roll the ball so much. So I think Nico is going to be prepared in this game. I think Nico is going to play well in this game. And guys, I truly think Nico is going to make a statement. And I think he's going to make it hard to replace him. Now, Neal Brown has been known to be very loyal to the guy he named starter, CJT Daniels, C. Jarrett Nagy. But I think the best thing that could happen for this program and the future of it, considering Nico has most would consider the higher upside from an arm talent perspective, I think him winning this job just would benefit the program in the long haul just a little bit more. And let's say he turns into what we all want him to turn into. Well, now he's a top flight quarterback if that happens, and we really want that to happen. We'd have 2 more years left with him. So that's what we're hoping for. Nothing's guaranteed in this, and we know that. The last 4 years sure as hell tell us. But I do think Nico is going to be ready to play Saturday. We'll see if he proves me right or wrong. Not saying I don't like Garrett and everything he brings to the table. If he's a starter, so be it. I'll be happy and cheer for Garrett. I'll scream my head off for Garrett Greene. But I think Nico's going to be the guy based off my sources. And I know some people that are pretty close to the situation that say he's at least 2 weeks out. So take that for what you will. I'm going to label the video under those pretenses that I think I have an update. People can disagree or agree. And if Garrett starts this Saturday, I'll admit that I was wrong. You can only rely on information in this business, right? So not everybody's always going to have your best interest at heart and tell you the truth all the time. But I will tell you guys what I'm told when I can. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. But there's one other really important thing I think we need to talk about, guys. Don't forget about Sean Boyle, the third string quarterback who, what Neal said in the press conference, has been getting reps during practice. I think he said, he took pretty much every second team rep there was to have today. This is a kid that's a 3-star kid that was only recruited by Charlotte, out of Charlotte Catholic High School. And let me tell you guys, if you didn't watch any film on Sean Boyle, he played in it's a really dated offense. They played in almost like a wing T type offense where what he was doing in that offense was handing it off 70% of the time. And then he would do like sprint right option, sprint left option off of that. And he rarely ever dropped back and threw the ball. It was mostly sprinting out to his right or sprinting out to his left. Now, in the RPO system, that can be helpful. And I think they would do well to design some plays for Sean Boyle rolling out right, rolling out left. He's got good athletic ability. Not as good as Garrett's. Probably more similar to Nico's. He might have just a bit more speed than Nico. I'm really not sure. But he can definitely tote the rock. He's 6'2", 180 pounds. Hopefully he's put some weight on. He's got an average arm strength, but he's extremely accurate, guys. And he probably, if we had to judge accuracy on this team and all things were even, he may be the most accurate passer of the 3 guys. from what I've seen on tape, and this is only based on high school. I don't know that to be the case in this offense. We'll see. But I think we as West Virginia fans need to understand we are one play away from seeing a true freshman and Sean Boyle get some snaps, guys. And in this day and age of the portal, unfortunately, this is how things are. You don't have wily veterans waiting in the wings to possibly see snaps. Could you possibly criticize Neal Brown and the staff for not bringing a guy in the offseason? I think that's a fair point. And if things can play out on the bad side of things, maybe that's an episode for down the road. But I think we pretty much hashed out most of how we feel about today, right? I think we've answered the question, will Garrett Greene play? I don't think he will. I think he's going to sit out for at least another week, possibly two. We'll see if he gets back in time for a next road game. I think this is going to be Nico's big opportunity. I think this is going to be a chance for him, guys, to solidify himself as QB1. You've seen it throughout history. Tom Brady is a perfect example. When you get your opportunity, don't mess it up. Nico's got a chance not to mess it up. Hopefully he's prepared for that. And don't forget about Sean Boyle, man. He could be one play away from being our quarterback. We'll see how it all goes, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, guys. It is free. I know you guys keep asking me about memberships. I will be figuring that out between this and next week. I'll be letting you know pretty soon about that. Drop a comment below. Let me know how you feel about the quarterback situation. Do you feel confident in Nico? Do you think he'll start the game? How do you feel about Garrett's injury? And what about Sean Boyle? Do you know anything about Sean Boyle? Do you have any questions about Sean Boyle? Do you have confidence in Sean Boyle? And last but not least, guys, please like the video. Just move your finger a couple inches and click that like button, guys. It really means a ton to me when you do that. It also feeds the monster I call the algorithm. Really hope you guys enjoyed the video. It means a ton to me that you guys come back each week and watch these. We'll be previewing Texas Tech probably tomorrow or the day after. I kind of want to do a video on Neal Brown's winless streak against the Red Raiders and talk about why that is. But we might hold off on that and see if we can't just go ahead and get the preview video out one way or the other. We'll figure it out. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Really appreciate you for stopping in. This has been another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. This episode is over. I am out.
This is for Cameron. Tim Cal.